They didn't see it coming, literally. Russia's most advanced radar systems, the same ones guarding the Baltic, just got fooled by a jet they've mocked for years. That jet wasn't American. It wasn't stealth. It wasn't even expensive. It was Swedish. The Saab Gripen E. And what just happened over the Baltic has Russia's top brass rethinking everything they thought they knew about modern air combat. For decades, the skies near the Baltic Sea have been a chessboard. NATO on one side, Russia on the other. The US sends its F-35s and F-16s to patrol the area. Russia answers with its Su-35s and MiG-31s. It's a constant shadow war, where every radar ping, every maneuver, every flight path sends a message. But in that tension, there's one small player that's been quietly rewriting the rules. Sweden. Neutral, independent, and way too smart to fight like everyone else. While superpowers poured billions into stealth coatings and massive logistics chains, Sweden took a different path. Build something small, smart, and impossible to predict. That's the Gripen. And this week, during NATO's latest joint exercise near Gotland, it proved why Russia should have been paying more attention. Here's what went down. Sweden's Air Force scrambled a pair of Gripen EAs to simulate defense against a mock enemy incursion over the Baltic. Russia, as always, was watching. Its early warning radars across Kaliningrad picked up the NATO activity instantly. But then, something strange happened. For a full minute, the Swedish jets simply vanished from the Russian radar grid. No stealth coatings, no magic, just pure electronic deception. The Gripen's new Orexis electronic warfare suite, a system that turns radio frequencies into a weapon, jammed and misdirected every sensor trying to find it. To Russia's radar operators, the Gripens looked like nothing, or worse, like something else entirely. When they reappeared, it was already too late. The simulated attack had succeeded. The Gripens were gone before the enemy even knew they'd arrived. One NATO officer called it a digital ghost strike. And inside Russian circles, it caused a quiet storm. Because if a non-stealth Swedish jet could do that, what does that mean for the balance of power over the Baltic? Let's back up. The Gripen E was never supposed to challenge giants like the F-35 or Su-57. When Saab designed it, their goal wasn't domination, it was survivability. To build a fighter that could fight, hide, and strike without billion-dollar infrastructure. Every system inside the Gripen is built around that idea. It can take off from a stretch of road in under 800 meters, be refueled and rearmed by 6 conscripts in 10 minutes, and then vanish back into the forest before anyone can react. That's not a luxury. For Sweden, it's survival. Because in a real war, Russia's first targets wouldn't be enemy aircraft, they'd be air bases. Sweden's answer? Don't rely on them. The Gripen turns highways, fields, and even frozen lakes into potential runways. Try doing that with a $100 million stealth fighter that needs a hangar and a maintenance army. But Russia never took it seriously. For years, Russian analysts mocked the Gripen as a toy jet. Too small, too light, too underpowered to compete with their heavy Su-35s or MiG-31s. They laughed at its price tag. Roughly half of what a Western fighter costs. They thought its simplicity was a weakness. And that's where they were wrong. Because in the new age of warfare, where speed, data, and adaptability matter more than brute force, simplicity is power. The Gripen E isn't built to dominate through intimidation. It's built to outsmart, outlast, and outadapt. And that's exactly what just played out over the Baltic skies. During the exercise, the Gripens not only evaded simulated Russian radar, they jammed incoming targeting signals aimed at them. In a real fight, that means Russian surface-to-air missiles could be tricked into chasing ghost signals or flying toward decoys. And here's the kicker. The Gripen's electronic warfare system isn't static. It learns. It records every hostile signal it detects, from radars to missile guidance frequencies, and updates its own defenses in real time. So the next time Russia tries the same trick, the Gripen will already know how to counter it. That's not just impressive, that's terrifying. for anyone relying on predictable, traditional systems. But this isn't just a technical win, it's a strategic one. See, for Russia, the Baltic region is their backyard, their buffer zone against NATO. For years, Moscow has projected dominance there with its massive S-400 air defense network and fleets of interceptors. But Sweden's entry into NATO, combined with the Gripen E's capabilities, changes that balance dramatically. Suddenly, Russia's air defense grid isn't untouchable. Suddenly, the smallest player on the map can slip through the cracks of the biggest machine on Earth. And that realization, that a small neutral nation could challenge Russian supremacy without even firing a shot, is what's truly making headlines in defense circles. Because this wasn't just a training success, it was a message that brains still beat budgets. Inside Russia, military commentators tried to downplay the event. They called it Western propaganda. But leaked chatter from radar units near Kaliningrad told a different story. Confusion, surprise, and silence. They couldn't figure out what had happened. Was it jamming? A stealth trick? A system glitch? No one knew. And for a country that prides itself on radar dominance, that kind of blindness is a nightmare. Especially when the threat didn't come from an American superjet, but from Sweden. The Gripen's power doesn't come from invisibility. It comes from unpredictability. It's a fighter that bends the rules instead of breaking them. It wins not by hiding, but by confusing. It's the chess player that doesn't move the king. It makes the opponent question the board itself. And as NATO integrates Sweden's air force into its defense plans, Russia now faces a new type of adversary. One that's not predictable, not arrogant, and not wasteful, just efficient. The ripple effects are already showing. Poland, Finland, and even the Czech Republic are revisiting their electronic warfare doctrines. Defense analysts in the US have started studying the Gripen's architecture to understand how a non-stealth jet can still achieve stealth-level survivability. Meanwhile, Saab, the company behind the jet, just saw a surge in export interest from countries tired of being locked into the F-35 ecosystem. Because what the Gripen E represents isn't just military power, it's independence, freedom from over-reliance, freedom from billion-dollar maintenance contracts, freedom from asking permission to defend your own skies. And that's what truly scares Moscow. Because every time a Gripen takes off from a stretch of icy road in northern Sweden, it proves something that Russia's defense philosophy can't quite handle. That survival doesn't have to be loud. It can be smart, quiet, calculated. And when those small gray jets disappear into the clouds, Russia knows, somewhere out there, a country it underestimated just rewrote the playbook. Sweden didn't build the biggest fighter. It didn't build the fastest, but it built the one that's rewriting air power in real time. And as the Baltic skies grow more crowded, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. Russia can't believe what this Swedish jet just did, but the rest of the world is taking notes. Because in modern warfare, the smartest weapon isn't the one you see coming.